Na 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 na. Alright, Lord, la femme a crié, la nature m'a fait, fun pas mélanger, l'amour a pitié.
The earthquake that struck Haiti in 2010 produced a catastrophe that is hard to imagine. Large sections of the biggest cities were reduced to rubble. No one knows how many people were killed by the quake, but in per capita terms, lower estimates are equivalent to the United States losing the entire population of Iowa. On the higher end, the estimated loss of 230,000 Haitians is equivalent to losing every soul in the state of Virginia in just a few days. Even before the quake, most Haitians suffered from crushing poverty, and if a similar proportion of the US population were displaced, it would be like the entire state of California finding itself suddenly homeless. The amount of international relief and reconstruction aid that has flowed into Haiti is impressive, but given the scope of the emergency, it was only enough to provide the 1.5 million displaced with substandard temporary shelter, semi-drinkable water, overcrowded sanitation services, and basic medical care. Opportunities to participate in cash for work programs were offered on a limited basis. 2 years and 9 months after the earthquake, a little over half of the $5.3 billion pledged by donor countries for rebuilding Haiti had been delivered. That figure must be viewed in the context of the World Bank's damage estimate of $7.9 billion, or 120% of the island nation's annual gross domestic product. More than 350,000 people remained in tent camps in September 2012, many under constant threat of eviction. Human rights attorney Jane Fleming was among those who rushed to Haiti's aid soon after the earthquake. She brought a unique service, offering to help some of the hardest hit individuals file for permission to go to the United States for help.
When I first came to Haiti, it was early March of 2010, and my purpose was really to come and identify individuals who might qualify for something called humanitarian parole, which is a form of temporary protection to enable someone to leave Haiti in order to get stable, perhaps get medical care, psychological care, and then return to Haiti at a point when the country was stable enough to receive them back and they would be safe.
Jane was overwhelmed by the damage to lives and property that she saw. And she was shocked to find that for hundreds of women and girls, losing homes, livelihoods, and in some cases their loved ones was only the beginning of their ordeal. Protected only by tarps in badly lit and overcrowded tent cities, and in spite of the huge international relief effort, hundreds of dispossessed women were being raped by predators who stalked in and around the camps, and no one was rushing to their aid.
Well, the situation for women and girls in Haiti is one of the worst I've seen. I've practiced human rights law for a long time, and I've represented women and girls from all over the world. And one of my areas of expertise is gender-based violence. I've represented girls who've been victims of forced marriage, victims of female genital cutting, victims of gang rape in Central America, but I've never seen anything of the scale that I've seen in Haiti since I've been coming. Over the past year, I've interviewed personally more than 65 rape victims. Many of them have been raped more than once, and many families have multiple rapes within the family. And our teams, I've been leading medical legal delegations, so teams of doctors and lawyers, and our teams have interviewed more than 100 rape victims. And that's just a fraction of the problem. I mean, we are only small teams that come to Haiti every couple of months, but the problem is of just a grand scale.
Alan Charles has served as Jane's project manager and interpreter in Haiti. He said that rape has always been a big problem in Haiti, but it got worse after the earthquake.
Me and Jane have interviewed over 100 victims of rapes in the camps, and we found out that most of their stories were similar. So let's say we get a call from a victim or from an agent in the camps, because we mostly work with grassroots organizations, women grassroots organizations, and we'll get a call and we'll take the victim, accompany that victim to the hospital, where we'll try to get a medical care. We'll accompany her as well to file a complaint, and at the same time we would make sure that she'll have a place to stay for the night, because most of our victims are scared to go back to the same camp because of retaliation, because most of the time the perpetrator is still in a camp, and the victim get very scared of that. So what we do, we have a process. If the victim is at risk, high risk, we put her in one of our safe houses. And I think the women have become more vulnerable, especially in the camps, whereas there's lack of police presence is not regular. They're living in tents, and most of our victims says that when they be sleeping at night, somebody could come with a razor and just slash the tent, and they don't feel protected at all. They sleep with one eye closed and one eye open.
Jane had no problem finding women who needed her help, but researching their cases and filing petitions with US officials would take months, so she sought immediate aid for her clients. But the humanitarian community in Haiti was no more ready to provide these women with special attention after their attacks than it had been to protect them in the first place. Jane looked for inspiration on what to do next to another woman who is key to this story, her mother, Patricia Fleming.
So my mom was alive before the earthquake hit, and I had already come to Haiti once, and I went home, and she was my best friend and a social justice advocate, and I told her all about what I had seen in Haiti, and she was very moved. And she had cancer and was in a very late stage of cancer and knew that she was not going to live forever. And she said, I'd like you to take all of my clothes to Haiti if I die. And she died the next month. And I took her clothes to Haiti, and I used my inheritance to set up a foundation, and have used all of the money to help women and girls in Haiti. And the project has grown actually in many different dimensions. I have a project related to the rule of law, where we provide shelter to women and children who are victims of gender-based violence. And really it's become much more multidimensional than just a law practice. It's got a psychosocial component and really trying to provide holistic care to individuals who've been hurt in Haiti.
Jane used her inheritance to set up the Patricia Fleming Fund in 2010, opening the only safe houses in Port-au-Prince for victims of gender-based violence. She has raised more than $150,000 to keep the project going over the past 2 years, providing shelter, medical care, food aid, and tuition assistance to more than 100 vulnerable women and children. In 2012, the fund supported a dozen safe houses. The Patricia Fleming Fund is also helping to build the capacity of Favelec, a local organization formed by survivors with the goal of helping victims of gender-based violence and addressing some of its root causes.
The reason the safe houses need to exist is because if a girl is raped, there's no government resources for her, there's no place for her to go for protection, and often she's a victim twice if she can't get out of the situation she was in where she was a victim the first time. So
we have one case, one family, where the grandmother was victimized, the daughter was victimized, and the granddaughter, which is a product of a rape, was victimized. She's 5 years old, and that family we put that family in one of our safe houses where she's living in security.
Jane continues to take on new clients in Haiti. In recent months, she has assisted yet another 5-year-old girl, a pregnant teen, and 2 teenage mothers whose babies were conceived through violence. If you would like to help, contributions to the Patricia Fleming Fund can be made online at this website. You can also find that link at danalder.com.
Sans importance, violence pas bon non. Femme qui maman, violence pas bon non. Faut corriger ça, violence pas bon non. Femme qui maman.